Does anybody know what the first state is? What?
New York.
He says New York. What do you say?
Delaware.
Delaware's correct. You know why you can tell? The date's right on it. December 7th, 1787. Delaware's correct, young man. Now this young man said New York.
New York is the 9th or 11th.
Well, is it now? You might have to go through the ratification process just like we went through the different states, huh? All right. So you got your answer for Delaware was the first state. All right.
Second.
So what shall we say about that? Y'all just wrote the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
So does anybody know what city the Constitution was written in?
Boston?
She says Boston. Is that true or false?
False.
Look, you got the right idea. That was, very much in the revolutionary mind, you see. But what year was the American Revolution? When did it start?
1774?
1773?
Yeah, some would say earlier than that. But, okay, what year did the fighting break out on Lexington Green in Massachusetts near Boston? 1770 what? 1775. And then we all got tired of the king over in England, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we said we want to be our own country, don't we?
Yeah.
So we wanted to declare that we wanted to be independent from England. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that was on July 4th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What year?
This is the reason what?
1776, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, so we. I'm going to trick you two because you're just saying yes to everything. All right, so I'm saying now, what year is it that the United States Constitution was written?
Yeah.
All right, so I have another arithmetic lesson for you. I want you to subtract 17 and 76 from 17 and 87. What do you get?
Yeah.
So that's 11 years. How many of you here are 11 years old?
I was doing it with my fingers and I wasn't doing it.
How many of you here is 11 years old? Raise your hand.
I'm turning
9.
10.
All right, 10.
Me too.
So we have 9 and 10-year-olds, right?
Nick is
Okay, so think about this.
I'm tomorrow.
All right, just think about this. Close enough. We got one 11-year-old. Between the time you were born and now was the time it took for us to declare our independence from England, fight our American Revolution. Did we win or lose? We won.
Woo.
And then we had to decide what to do with ourselves, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we decided to write what? The United States what?
Constitution.
And those are all the rules that we do what for we the people. We govern or we rule. Now we better not say rule because we're not a king. Well, I'm a president, I'm not a king. I have a lot of checks on my power. That's part of what the Constitution does, but you'll learn that when you get older. All right? So the Constitution was written in 1787. Let's see what else we got here going. What year is it now?
1816.
18 and 16, correct.
I said it.
What's my name? What state am I from?
Virginia.
Who was the president before me?
Thomas Jefferson.
All right, now I got something really nice to say about Thomas Jefferson. Now, remember we talked about July the 4th, 1776?
Yeah.
And we decided that we were going to declare our independence from Great Britain and the King of England.
Yeah.
You know what the king's name was? King what?
George III.
King George III, that's correct. So King George III, you're a tyrant. We don't want you to rule us anymore. We want to have our own rule. So we fought a war for 8 years and we won. And then we said, what we're going to do with ourselves, we're going to write our own rules. It became the United States Constitution, and then we became a country. But you see, Thomas Jefferson now, what happened in 1776 after the fighting broke out, we said, oh my goodness, we're at war now. Those shots were fired. There's no turning back. So we have to say, what are we going to say about declaring our independence? Guess who they picked to write that? Thomas Jefferson, my good friend. And do you know what city he was in when he wrote that? Not Virginia. Not yet.
Lexington?
That's still, y'all, no, you're still in Boston. Listen, it's in a different state. It's in Pennsylvania. It's a very famous city in Pennsylvania. Anybody know? Yes. Philadelphia. Raise your hand if you heard of Philadelphia.
Yep.
All right, very good. That's where the Declaration of Independence was written by Thomas Jefferson. Guess what?
Yeah.
The same building, listen to this now, the same building where the Declaration of Independence was written was the same building where the United States Constitution was written. Isn't that pretty neat? All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes, young
Do you
man.
know Batman?
Do I know Batman? No, I don't know Batman. Does anybody have any other questions? Yes, young man. He's still alive, young man. What do you mean? You're putting that man in his grave early. Yes, young man.
What age is Thomas Jefferson?
73. He says, what age is Thomas Jefferson right now? 73. Somebody else had a question over here. What was the third state? We're going to skip the second, huh?
No, I want to hear the second.
All right. We already know the first one's Delaware, right?
Delaware.
All right. I have to think, my
The
goodness.
second is Massachusetts.
No, that's 6. I'm sorry. 2, I believe, is Pennsylvania. And 3, I believe, is New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
You said New Jersey before for one reason or another.
Yeah,
Anyone else have a question?
When was the Treaty of Paris signed?
Her question was, when was the Treaty of Paris signed? Why do you ask me that question? Because why? All right, she wants to know when the Treaty of Paris was signed. It was 1783, but why would that be important?
Yeah.
What's a treaty? What is a treaty?
Oh,
It means we made peace, right?
Yeah.
We came to an agreement. We're not going to be at war and kill each other anymore. So the Treaty of Paris in 1783 ended the American Revolution officially.
It's a very important
You see? So that's a very good question, but you have to have some reasoning behind why it is, why it took place. You see, all right, now let's take that 2 years back. What's 1783 minus 2?
1781.
Okay, so that's a year. 1781. Did you know that we fought our American Revolution from 1775? The year the first shot was heard from around the world, Lexington Green, near Boston, Massachusetts, in April 19, 1775, to October 17, 1781. The last shots were fired in what state? Does anybody know? I'll give you a clue. I kind of know a lot about it because I'm from there.
Virginia.
Right. But you see, I'm not from the coast. I'm from in towards the mountains where they have all the plantations and grow all the crops. They surrendered on the shore of the Atlantic Ocean in a place called Yorktown. Can y'all say Yorktown?
Yorktown.
Yorktown, Virginia in 1781. So isn't that kind of interesting that it took 2 years after the fighting was done for there to be an official treaty?
Wow.
And one of the reasons is because all that happened overseas, in France. Everybody said they knew where France was over in Europe before, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how long it takes to cross the ocean on a ship? 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. So just to get word back and forth from Europe to here takes an awful long time. So for men to dicker around and go through all the things, well, I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with that. Well, we have to compromise on that. Well, all right, we'll say that's a treaty. By the time all that happened, 1783, Kamaya,
Yeah.
yes, says that we are now at peace. All right, we have some really, really fine students here. We're pushing it to the limit. We got 2 more questions, and then I think I sense that we're going to have to travel back to the future, and I'm going to have to go back to dinner time. Guess what we're having for dinner tonight?
What?
Turkey. Turkey. Yes, Dave.
When was the
Oh, David asked a question. When was the French and Indian War? Does anybody know the answer to that? The French and Indian War was fought in this country when I was very, very, very young. I was born in 1751, you see. And so that was a war that was fought before our American Revolution. And so that had to do with the country Great Britain and France. Yes. So that confrontation lasted about 8 years, 6 years I believe actually, about 1756 or so to 1755 to 1763.
Wait, so the French brought the British because the French brought us in who were invading the south of us. So then the British helped them? Yeah, really?
Yes, you see, those were the most powerful nations in the entire world, is that right? England and France, before the United States of America came to be, they were the most powerful countries in the entire world. England and France, yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. All right, so they're back and forth, trying to figure out who's going to dominate and who's going to win. Who finally won the French and Indian War? Does anybody know? Raise your hand if you think it's the French. Raise your hand if you think it's the British. British is correct. Very good. All right. So I think y'all's brains are filled up to the top, the tippy top right now. All right? So if y'all have questions, I'm going to say something to you right now. I want everybody to take something home with them. I'm going to give you a chance to get yourselves a special certificate from me, signed by the President of the United States, if you do a little exercise. All right? So I'm going to pass this out. There's some instructions on the bottom. James Madison's 9 tenets. Tenets means like methods. All right, so you're going to find a list of 9 different things here. You're going to read them all. You're going to find out which one's your favorite. You can pick 1 or 2 of them, and then you're going to write me, like it says here, and you're going to say at least one way you will implement your choice. In other words, I'm going to tell you one that I think I want some of you to say. Some of this is going to take a little thought on y'all's part. Well, I'm not going to say it because it's going to take a little while. So you're going to study this a little bit, find out what your favorites are, then you're going to write me, and then by doing that, I'll get you a certificate and a little prize by mail. All right? Okay. Thank you. Hand them out, and I'm going to give you the whole pile because I don't think that's quite enough. And I want you to raise your hand if y'all had some fun today. I want you to raise your hand if you felt like you learned something new today. All right. Well, I want to tell you on behalf of Mrs. Madison that we enjoy traveling to New York, and I'm very, very encouraged by our future citizens when you grow up to be grown-ups and can vote, that you will continue to keep this country in good hands, whoever that president may be. Understood? All right. I'm going to bid my adieu now. Have some dinner. You guys be safe in your time travels back to the future, all right?
I want you to say thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's clap. High five. First row, this side. Come line up. Isabella. Sit down, Chris. I didn't call you.
Hi.
The second row. Stand up.